Hello everybody, it is early spring and I just want to take you guys all on a little garden tour. We've just started to plant for the season and no judgment on any of the sunburns and or slightly withery bits. We are doing a lot of tests this year. So some things we're trying out and just recording, and other things are more practical planting. So in this section here, we have a bunch of tomatoes that are of various cherry varieties, as well as marigold straight in the center, 2 bunny tail grasses on the side, a pampas in the back, and a lumera at the front. Then when you kind of come around this side, it's where we have our flower garden. We kind of started as a pollinator garden, but we have now kind of decided to start adding more perennial items in here, so we keep, I guess, not needing to readdress it every year. We added a couple things last year, and a couple things were here already. That tree will be going soon because it's coming up through the fence line. But we have essentially 2 raspberry bushes, just a little pot there of the bunny grass, a giant hosta. It got a little bit tattered here just because we did some heavy weeding and didn't really watch it very nicely. A stunning peony that is popping up. Lots of chicken hens. As you can see, we also need to cut the grass. Before hitting the bed there on your left-hand side, I'll just show over here. We have kind of the same thing going on that we do in the other square bed just to the right of the flower garden. Again, just a couple more tests to kind of see what we can do and what we can achieve in the time frames and the prepping strategies we used. Over here, you'll notice one kind of sad strawberry and one good strawberry. These are ones that we kind of thought weren't going to work, and we replanted, and one has really popped off, so we're pretty excited about that. Behind we have our compost. Then it kind of comes into the main attraction over here. I'll take you at the back and then we'll kind of show you what's going on here. So if you come back here, these are my husband's garden beds. He has really started into it this year. So he has a bunch of potatoes, a couple types of peppers, and they're coming out really, really nicely. This is also one of his beds. He has his Brandywine tomatoes back there. Just sowed some carrots in the center that haven't popped up yet, but along the sides you'll see there's tons of onions. And a marigold. Also here, he didn't really work out very well, but that was supposed to be basil. I was having really, really bad luck with basil this year. The onions that are at the front there, they're just a bunching variety. Then this is kind of our hodgepodge, mix match, just try it out bed. It's got a little bit of everything in it. So we do have 2 different types of tango leaf lettuce here at the front. Purple variety, which is super freaking cool. Mind my dry as dirt. And then just a green variety there. We have a zucchini right in the center, sided with a marigold. We have some parsley that was gifted to us by Roots with Ryan. Another pepper. Some of our peppers we made this year, some of them we purchased. Just some of the varieties we didn't have seeds for. Got some leeks there as well. In the section without the tags, there is going to be some lettuce popping up. Of course, you can kind of see some weeds, but it's not too bad. Little eggplant right there, a couple more peppers, and another zucchini. We just put him out. He's doing really, really well. And then this one that was up here, we put out, and he was actually a replacement for one that did not do well. So again, going back to the whole trying lots of different things this year. Over here, it may not look like much. And you may be thinking, wow, you have all this extra space. Nope, that is gonna be reserved for something very special. We have some Calderia on the side there. They're a kind of neon orangey flower with some bunny grass in the front, and then another variety of lettuce. And then in here is actually going to be a pumpkin patch. So I do have one small thing planted between all those dots. Nothing's popped up, but that one should hopefully take over all of this. And I say that because we're growing, hopefully, a giant pumpkin, which is really cool. Coming on over here, again, it may look like it's kind of empty, but as you guessed it, it's already planted. Just a variety of lettuce here at the end, but where you see the cages, they're kind of just, they won't probably be used for structure, but we did plant some squash in here, and I just wanted to put these cages just so I knew where they were. Marigolds, of course, can never have too many marigolds, so we put some right in between. And you can kind of see that squared area. We actually put some corn there, but it's not any corn. It's gem glass corn. So it's very ornamental, and it's used for flowers and or popcorn as opposed to eating like a sweet corn. As we come over here, this one, ignore all of the awful weeds there. We're constantly battling that. But this has kind of turned into all of our beans and all of our peas. And then just, of course, we have a couple pots of all of our lettuces, 2 different types of spinach, and some kale. We just moved a bunch of things. Previously, all the like little buckets that you see all around there, we had them all in this section, but eventually I want to remove everything so we can eventually put down some soil and this can be a full bed. But when we made it, we just hadn't filled it up, so it kind of just stayed like this. Over here, I love this bed. It's gonna look so amazing once everything's grown in. So what this is, you'll see a couple things are showing some green and a couple things aren't. So we do have cucumbers planted almost exclusively in here, outside of, you guessed it, marigold. And then in the middle here, I put some ornamental flowering sweet pea. They're just an annual. I just want a quick place to put them, so I'm hoping that they trellis up right in the center to kind of divide the 2 different species of cucumbers that we do have. And of course, over here, actually, I think we have 5 species in this bed, so there's a little more than just a couple. Of course, it wouldn't be complete without some bunny grass. I just planted a lot of bunny grass because it's something that I'm going to be drying and plucking out of the garden, and it's just pretty to have some greenery while everything kind of grows in. These also will bush out hopefully and go over the sides and shoot out all the little bunnies, so it should be pretty cute. This section here, this is an experiment that you guys will be able to see right away. This is what our lovely dill looks like when you direct sow. But if you start it, especially if you start it without the proper resources of not proper lighting, not proper, I guess, containers, you can see the difference. Crazy, eh? So a lot of our experiments are like that this year. We neglected some plants and then we really strive to love on some plants. And you can really see the difference. We've already used this in some of our cooking, and that's freaking amazing because I know a lot of people are only planting it right now. You can kind of see the crisscross frames would have helped with that. Originally they were covered with plastic. They've now been removed since we have consistent temperatures. But yeah, we use these kind of as little like cold frames to get a head start on the season. So in the middle, we just had some extra leeks, so we put them there. And then this is kind of a mixed brassica bed. So you can see that ginormous guy. He was actually a tester, so he went out, I want to say February, maybe early March, outside in the snow, where everybody else was seed started at the proper time. So you can see the difference in what you can achieve. Obviously, we don't have like vegetables yet, but you can see the difference if you test, if you try. Obviously, we have a couple little sprout boys. And those might just be volunteers from the previous year. But yeah, crazy the difference, eh? This bed is all about experimenting. And then just 2 little baby Swiss Chards. Pretty cute. There were more in there, but I had to pull them all out. This was another one of the cold framing beds, which you can see is popping off. If you follow me on any of my social medias, you'll see I've been ranting and raving about all of those radishes. Hard to miss them. So you can see how many we have. We've already harvested now six times, guys. Insane. These cold frames, honestly, they're kind of what put me through, I guess, the springtime for my mental health, just because I was able to plant back in like January and February, so I didn't have to wait. Probably should have waited a little bit on these guys. These ones here, they're all of our peppers. Some of them are definitely leggy and long. Some of them definitely some sunburn. Some of them are really small and cute still. So just a bunch of varieties, some hot, some sweet. Pretty excited. And you guessed it, just another bunny grass. I did put a little sweet pea in there too, just to see if I could do a container with multiple things and see how she looks. Here, this guy is actually a broad Windsor bean, same as that. But again, just wanted to try, is it better just planting one plant, or is it better planting a million plants? So far, planting a million plants is winning. Who knew? Sometimes though, you don't win. So don't think everything is going great here. What we are doing with this one though, is going to be, I think it's called California weave. I really hope that's right. But it's like a weaving technique. You can see the string there. Eventually, as the tomatoes will grow up, we'll kind of go in and out a weaving system here. So as they keep climbing and climbing, we can keep tethering them up and then trimming out all of their bottom leaves in hopes that we have some really, really good tomatoes. These tomatoes in here, they're all Romas and beefsteaks, so they're your bigger varieties. That's why they're in this bed versus all of the containers, which have all of our cherries. The last and final bed. Not all that we have of on this property, because we do have a front yard, but this is all that's kind of the main garden, I guess you could say. So another broad Windsor bean, more marigolds. Peep that guy in the center. He's not doing so hot, but that's okay. There's nothing in that center. I did just have a pot in the center, but you can see I needed to address some of the soil. It's really dry. I wanted to like kind of cover everything, because on this side here and on this side here, I have two different things planted. I have miniature gourds and I have miniature pumpkins. So eventually these will have like kind of a fencing, or we might do like a fabric netting similar to that, just so they have something to climb. But for right now, we don't even have sprouts, so it's not something we were rushing about. And of course, you know, little bitties in there, a lumera in the center, a marigold on the side here, and a failed marigold on the other side there. So that is more or less our garden of 2021. And what's crazy to think for me is this is only a year's worth of work. It's truly amazing what you can do when you set your mind to it. I love how our neighbors' trees also work with how we want everything, and we'll probably mimic something along this side. Utilitarian area, I guess, for all of our wood. And then my two pride and glories, my gooseberries. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour. I hope it inspires you, and hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.